Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I am Dylan Steele from Salesforce Platform Marketing Team. I'm joined this morning by Eric Jacobson, a Senior Director of Product Management on some of our app building tools. Hi, Eric. Welcome.
Thanks, Dylan. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, good to see you here again. So together, Eric and I are going to tell you all about how to build mobile apps in 20 minutes, building on top of Salesforce Lightning. It's a really exciting topic for us. We've been around Salesforce for a while, thinking about how to accelerate mobile app development. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Today we're going to share with you some information about products that's available now and possibly talk about some products that's available in the future. So I just want to make sure that all your purchasing decisions are made based on technology that's available today. So right before we get started, I want to mention just a few things. And the first one is that we want to make sure that this is an interactive, engaging experience. So for anyone who wants to ask us questions, we're going to run a live Q&A at the end. You'll see an Ask a Question button in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. If there's anything you'd like to ask us, just click that button, type your question, and we'll make sure to get to as many of those as we can. And we also want to make sure you enjoy your webinar and it offers valuable content, and we give you exactly what you want. So take a moment after the presentation, tell us what you liked, tell us what you didn't like, and what you'd like to see for next time, and we'll make sure to do that for our next webinar. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So for those of you who are Salesforce customers or those of you who are new, Salesforce offers a wide range of technology. Our core CRM products for sales and service, marketing as well. We've got separate applications for community and analytics. But we also have a tool for building custom applications, and we call that tool the Salesforce One Platform. And inside the Salesforce One Platform, we have a whole breadth of technology and tools specific for fast app development and app customization. And the real power of the Salesforce One Platform is that the custom apps you build share the data with all of our pre-built enterprise-grade apps with Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Community, and Analytics as well. And underneath that is the same technology powering your custom apps, our partner apps, and our App Exchange ecosystem, as well as all these pre-built Salesforce apps, all running on the Salesforce One Platform together. And we've taken all these apps and brought them into the mobile age with our Salesforce One mobile application as well. And the reason we've done this is because we've seen there's been a massive app revolution, right? Every company now needs to become an app company. They need to think about how apps are engaging with their customers, how they're changing the way employees work, and how they're really redefining industries, and we didn't think previously could be redefined by applications. You see some examples here: Honeywell, Home Depot, Philips, and Coca-Cola, all real traditional companies that are now revolutionizing their business.
But isn't it really hard to build mobile apps, Dylan?
Well, for some companies, I think we've seen that it's a little more challenging than for others. When we look at what IT leaders, I go out on the road and speak with IT departments all over the world. And what we see is they all recognize the need for mobile apps, but only about a fifth of the mobile apps that are needed are able to be delivered today by enterprise IT departments.
Well, so clearly there's a gap. We need to do something to make it easier for people to build these apps, because people need those apps. We've got all these great apps in our personal lives, but shouldn't we have great apps for our business lives as well?
Yeah, and this is a clear challenge we've seen from IT and from businesses large and small. So Eric, I know you've been working really hard on new solutions to help kind of fill this app gap, and I think today we're going to introduce that first new solution, which is we think that closing this application gap requires an entirely new approach to mobile application development and custom application development, and that is the componentization of these apps, creating reusable building blocks for assembling applications. And Eric, this has really been kind of the holy grail of where the industry has been going for quite a long time.
It truly has. It's something certainly my whole career and even beyond that, that's something we've been wanting to do for a really long time, to bring app building to the business user, and part of that was componentizing it. And it's now possible because we're all walking around with supercomputers in our pockets, and it makes it possible to do things that were never possible before. And we can now make it so that we can very easily build these applications as a series of components, modularly assemble them, and quickly and rapidly deploy them and respond to the feedback from the users that are using those applications, so that we can tweak them and make them more productive.
That's great. So let's go in one level deeper and talk about how we look at this componentization of custom app development. And then there's a couple different key pieces to what we call Salesforce Lightning. And Lightning is really an entirely new way to deliver these engaging enterprise apps. And the way to think about Lightning, I think there's three kind of key buckets. The first is the componentization. So how do we break down mobile apps into simple components that are reusable and can be surfaced on different mobile devices, desktop devices, across your entire app ecosystem. The second piece is the Lightning App Builder. So the Lightning App Builder is the tool that will allow you to assemble these apps quickly and easily. And this can be done by a developer or a more business-oriented user, an admin, someone who understands the needs of the business, but maybe doesn't have the technical development.
Exactly. It's clicks. It's not codes. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes with a demo and show you just how easily we can build that application. In fact, we'll build a couple versions of an app.
Great. And the third and final piece is an app exchange for components. So an easy way to share components outside of your organization. You might have third-party vendors who are building components. You might have some that are built by Salesforce. And so we make it really easy to plug and play different components from an entirely open ecosystem. So just talking through a couple of these individually, those Lightning components that we pointed out first, it's important to understand how these work and how they're built. Like I said, there'll be components provided by Salesforce out of the box. There are others that will be provided by a third-party software vendor, but you can also, as an individual organization, build your own custom components. And these are based on a really simple open-source framework. It's a JavaScript framework that we started with, and these make it possible for you to build a specific custom component to your business needs that can be, built once and then deployed everywhere across your organization, depending on the department, the need of the individual, and specific business case.
Yeah, it really allows you to maximize your investment there because you're building for reuse. You can enable your business users to build their applications utilizing those components that your developers build for you, and then also leveraging the app exchange so you get the shared ecosystem as well there. So it's that combination, that spectrum that really makes it powerful.
That's great, and we know that developers are in high demand across every organization. So the key here is how do we get the most out of your developer organization? And the key is if you can scale their work, if you can reuse it in multiple apps and not having them building the same thing 10 times over, it goes a long way into building custom mobile applications. So we talked quickly just about those mobile components and delivering those engaging experiences. Then, and Eric, this is your wheelhouse, what do we do with these Lightning components? Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Lightning App Builder?
Sure. The idea behind the Lightning App Builder is that we allow you to drag and drop components to build applications responsively. So this is also one of those sort of holy grails of mobile application design, is building an app where you design it once and it's going to work across a spectrum of devices. I mean, we know that there's heterogeneity. People have different devices. Some people are walking around with iPhones and they might have an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 6 or the big iPhone 6 Plus. Other people are walking around with Android devices and iPads, and I don't want to have to go and design a custom application for each one of those different screens. What if I could build it once and ensure that it's going to work great across all of those different devices? We can do that with the App Builder here because we make it so easy. You pick a template, you drag and drop, and we take care of making sure that app is going to work great regardless of the device you have in your pocket.
That's great. And the App Builder is live as part of Salesforce today.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, so if you're a Salesforce customer, you can go in and find the App Builder, and you can begin building custom apps with components literally today.
With any platform or CRM license, you've got access to the App Builder there.
Absolutely. That's great. And then the final piece we'll just close off on the components is our App Exchange specifically for these components. So rather than our Salesforce App Exchange has been available and part of our ecosystem for a long time, but we've created a new component store, which is rather than download an entire app built by a third-party vendor, specific components to add a mapping feature or add a CPQ feature or some specific feature inside of an application can be downloaded directly from the component exchange, plugged into an existing app. Using the App Builder, it can be placed in any specific application you want, and it can be pushed out to the specific employees that you think can get value from those components. So with that, I think we're going to move on to a demo. And Eric, let's go ahead and give you control of the screen, and I'll let you lead us through the demo component portion of Lightning.
Okay, perfect. So I'm logged in here now to my instance of Salesforce.
Let's go ahead and make sure we can share the screen
so that everyone can see that.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay. So I'm logged into my instance of Salesforce here, and what we're looking at now is that we're in the main screen here, and I'm looking at my home screen. Now, the key to building applications, this is a task that you do need to have some amount of permission to do. It's something that you need some amount of administrative rights to be able to do. So we're going to go into the setup area of Salesforce, and that's where we're going to go and access the Lightning App Builder here. So now I'm in the setup area. You can see there's a lot of different types of things that we can do to set up here, but the key thing that we're going to look at the moment is that if we look on the left-hand side, you'll see a section called Build. And this is where we're going to create things. And so what we're going to look at is that we want to build an application using the Lightning App Builder here. So we're going to go and select Lightning App Builder. And it's going to give us a list potentially of all the other apps that we've already created here. Then what we can do in this case is we're going to actually go and create a new app from scratch. With our audience here watching the webinar, we're going to build a brand new app from scratch. I know it's risky to build live code on the fly here, but you know what? We can do it because we're not going to write code.
And Eric, let me ask you. So I know you're on the road a lot for Salesforce. We get you out and put you in front of customers. Can you tell us a little bit about the kind of app that you're going to build for us today?
Absolutely. I'm going to a lot of different events. So I want to have an app that I can use for myself and my team to keep track of the various trips that we go on. And you can imagine that this works for any type of audience where users are going to be going on trips and things like that. So it's a common business task there. Okay. So we go ahead here and we're in our Lightning App Builder. We can go ahead now and remember I mentioned that the App Builder builds responsive applications, and the key to that is picking a template here. So for example, if I pick this 3-column template, you can see it'll show me what my application will look like on my phone, my tablet, and even if I were to go and take my tablet and rotate it over into landscape view. So it gives me a wide variety of presentations there. I've got a few different choices of templates I could pick from depending on the app that I'm creating. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we provide a label for applications. As I mentioned, this is going to be a trip application, so I'm going to call it Trip Master. We'll go ahead and we will create that application. It's going to bring us here into the Lightning App Builder. You can see over on the left-hand side, I have a list of all of my components that are available to me. In the center, I have my design surface, and then I can set some properties. So we'll start out by previewing what this application is going to look like as if I were building it on a tablet here. And we'll start by bringing in a list of my trips. So trips is a custom object that I've built here in Salesforce. I could also work with virtually any of the standard objects, certainly all of my custom objects, and I can bring in a list of trips. I can specify how many of those trips I want to display. Now, perhaps I want to visualize this in a little bit more graphic way. I might want to see a chart that will show me the different types of trips that I'm going on. So if I've already created a report, I could see my types of charts or my types of trips here as a pie chart. But you know what? Trips are a very geographic kind of thing. So wouldn't it be great if we could see our trips perhaps, say, on a map? Well, you'll notice here I don't have a map as a standard component, but we talked about the ecosystem. The component ecosystem is great here because I can go look in AppExchange, and I can go look for components there, and you'll see that there are some different types of map components that are available to me. For example, there's a heat map component, or if I go into this steroid package here, there's another live map component there. So a variety of different types of components that I could use to bring into my application here to make it possible to extend the capability.
And now, Eric, just to be clear, these specific components on the AppExchange, these are built by Salesforce, or these are built by third-party vendors?
These are generally built by third-party vendors. Some of them do come from Salesforce Labs, so they may have been built by some people on the side, but a lot of these are coming from third-party vendors, and there will continue to be more over time.
Got it. And do we vet the people who post on the AppExchange and the component exchange to make sure they're functional?
Absolutely. You know, that's one of the really important things here with the AppExchange. You know that everything that goes through there has been reviewed for security. So we ensure that trust is maintained, that anything you bring in here is not going to compromise the integrity of your application. Great. So you can imagine now that I've picked one of these great components. I happen to already have some installed in my org here. So let's say that I want to look for some map components. I can just filter down the list there, and you can see I've got a couple different map ones here that I might want to bring in. So I'm going to bring in this trip map component here, and to see now it's actually plotting a heat map and showing me where I may have trips located throughout the country. Now, I think that's a pretty good start to our application here. So I want to now go ahead and share that and make it available to my mobile users. Okay, now this must be the hard part, right? This is where we're going to have to get some IT people involved, and we're going to have to provision to all these different devices. Nah, this is the Lightning App Builder. We're going to make it fast and easy. So I'm going to hit Save. Oh, no. Okay, we'll quickly drag. It looks like we minor glitch there. Apologize for that.
So when you do hit save and we decide to go into build that custom, to deploy that custom app, it doesn't get deployed directly into your own custom app. We've actually built a pre-built app container where it quickly becomes available. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It's going to get deployed inside of Salesforce One, inside that mobile application there. So, for example, if I bring up the Salesforce One mobile app here, what you'll see is that when I go over to the menu there, you'll see a variety of different things that are going to show up there. You'll have access to the built-in, so all of your standard CRM objects and your custom objects are there, but then you also have your apps. So, for example, here we can go now and see that Trip Master application there, and we'll see now we've got a list of our trips, we've got that chart, and then we've also got some recent notes there for it. So this is a slightly different version of the application, but you can see it's deployed here on my iPad. If I were to go and pivot over into landscape view, you'll see it now actually responsively changed from being a 2-column application to being a 3-column application. So we've got all of that functionality there. For example, I can actually drill in from those lists and actually see the details of a particular trip. So if I want to see, hey, do you know the Dreamforce is coming up? Look at that. September 15th. I guess we better get ready and be in San Francisco in a couple of weeks.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. So you can see we've got all of that information there, and then additionally we can make our applications interactive by adding custom actions to those applications as well. So for example here, if I want to take notes when I'm on my trip, I could very easily just go ahead and create a trip note. We can go ahead and say, hello Salesforce users. We'll call this a VIP meet and greet. All our customers are important to us. They're all VIPs. So we'll go ahead and we'll hit save. It's going to tell us that trip note was created. And then, in fact, here you can see if we go ahead and refresh the data, our list of recent notes over on the right-hand side will actually update and will give us that VIP meet and greet that we just created there. So it seems like the internet's been a little slow on us this morning, but bear with us for a sec there. So you can see that gives you an idea of how that might work. And then if we wanted to go in and enhance that application, it's really pretty easy because we can just go in and open that application here and very quickly and easily iterate on it. We can bring it in, bring it back inside the Lightning App Builder, and start dragging some additional components onto that application. We hit save, and then we can immediately update that application. We don't need to republish it. We're able to quickly add those components and make it available to our users.
And if we wanted to see what it would look like on a mobile phone as opposed to a tablet, is that pretty easy to do as well?
It is. We can preview that right within the App Builder here. So, for example, I can just go ahead and switch it over to a phone, and what you'll see now is it's going to redraw the application there, and it's going to shrink it down and bring it into a single-column view as it would appear on our phone.
Got it.
Yes, so as I mentioned, the applications are responsive, and we give you a way to preview what that's going to look like there right inside the App Builder even before you go and push it out to your devices.
Got it. Makes total sense. So it's a very easy way to publish apps for your mobile phone or for your tablet. We showed kind of two different versions. We showed the original version, and then we switched to another app, and you didn't see the map component there, but you saw some of our filtered lists and some of those other standard Salesforce components that publish live directly to the iPad that we have here in front of us. So that's great. Anything else that we want to show as part of the App Builder while we're here inside the experience?
No, I think that covers a lot of what we've got there today. There's certainly something we continue to invest in. The App Builder we first showed at Dreamforce last year, we've done a lot. We've made it generally available as of the summer release, so everyone's got access to it now. With the launch of the App Exchange for Components, you're seeing a wide ecosystem of components start to appear there, so you can build some really rich and exciting applications. And I think that there's certainly going to be more to come. So it's certainly an area we'll want to continue to watch.
Good. All right. Well, let's move back to our presentation, and there's just two more pieces I'd like to show you. We spent a lot of time after building this Lightning App Builder and our Lightning App Components, working with Gartner and other analysts, and actually in just the past month, We have been ranked by Gartner as a top mobile app development platform in 2015, and that's through the combination of Lightning App Builder, so building these apps custom using components, and also some of our other tools for building custom mobile applications, be it Heroku that allows you to build custom mobile apps in any language, some of our other mobile SDK and other ways to build fully customized mobile applications through Salesforce. So it's something we're really proud of, and it's somewhere where we're really investing, and I think it's really bearing fruit for us. And if you're interested in getting started on mobile app building, I highly recommend you visit our Trailhead, which is a guided learning tool. You can go to developer.salesforce.com/trailhead, and we have a number of tracks for app building. We have one track that's specific to developers who'd like to build their own custom components that can walk you through some of the tools and some of the ways we build using JavaScript to help you build those components. Or if you're like me and you're more on the admin side and you want to figure out how these components are useful to you once they're built, we have an entire track about dragging and dropping using our specified components to build a custom mobile app for phones or for tablets.
Absolutely. So don't be scared away by that URL of developer.salesforce.com. Even if you don't think of yourself as a developer, hopefully after watching this webinar today, you've gotten the sense that anybody can be an app builder, and it's just that easy. So the idea here is that this is the site. It is developer.salesforce.com/trailhead, but the content really is focused at a wide range of users. Really, if you're a business user, if you're comfortable using tools like Excel and PowerPoint, you can get in there and build an application with tools like the App Builder. So
great.
We invite you to come.
And of course, if you want to learn more, there's tons of sessions and information about this happening at Dreamforce in just a little less than a month away. So please, we'd love to host you here in San Francisco. If you can't join in person, we have tons of live streams of many of our sessions where we'll be talking about this and walking you through how you can make the Lightning App Builder experience pertinent for your business. So with that, let's go ahead and take some of the questions that have come in from the audience. And thank you all. It looks like we've got a number of really, really good questions here. So I'm going to start with a question which is, where or how do the components, like the heat maps and charts, know where to get the data, particularly when they come from the App Exchange? And I'll take a crack at this one, and Eric, let me know. So the question is, where's the data coming from for these particular components? And the answer is, you can specify the object inside of Salesforce that it draws the data from. So that's part of the app building and component experience. Is they give you the shell, essentially, the shell of how to visualize the data, be it a filtered list, be it a map, be it a chart, and then you can point that chart at a specific object inside Salesforce. So think you can point at a standard object if you're interested in things like accounts or cases or opportunities, but you can also point it at a custom object, as we did, which was trips, right? Trips was a fully custom object.
Exactly, and then to build on that as well, there are some of the components that are out there that actually connect to external data. So, for example, there are components that bring in news feeds via RSS or bring in information about external meetings from meetups and things like that. And so they're actually going out and talking to various web services to bring in that information as well.
Great. That's fantastic. So many different data sources can be pulled in. I think it's worth thinking about which data sources are most pertinent and important to you, whether they're custom objects, whether they're standard objects, or outside sources that can be paired with maybe account or custom data to make it more meaningful.
Exactly.
So another question is, does App Builder work on Heroku? This is a very easy question for us to answer because App Builder is built 100% on Force.com. So Force.com is part of our platform. So as of right now, it runs fully on Force. Heroku is a separate and fantastic tool for building custom applications. It's really all about building custom web apps that run in any language, so you can build them in your favorite language, whether it's Ruby, Node, Java, or others. But that's more of a custom app building experience. So we want to make sure every customer has a breadth of tools to choose from. If you want to build a fully custom app in any language with your own UI, your own custom design, Heroku is the tool for you. If you want a more modularized, componentized app building experience that's a little faster to use, it might be a little more focused on the business user, we'd recommend Lightning.
And I think, to build on that, part of it is that the apps that you build using the Lightning App Builder, all, as we showed here, all run within the Salesforce One mobile container. So that can be the Salesforce One container is an app that you install natively on your iPhone or your Android phone. The content is a hybrid where it is pulling information from the web and loading it into that application there. So I think that kind of addresses another question there as far as, is it a native app or a web app there? The answer is both, but it's always inside of the Salesforce One mobile app as the container, whether you're running that in your mobile browser or through the app that you've installed on your Android or iOS device there. Now, there were some questions about, can I just build apps using the standard components, or do I need to bring in things from AppExchange? Well, of course you can just build using our standard components. While the standard component set there is just 5 components, they're actually incredibly versatile components because they're all very repurposable. So, for example, that filter list component that we use there connects to any standard or custom object. The report chart lets you build dashboard-style applications that will grab data from any of the saved and shared reports that you may have. We have a rich text component that will allow you to very quickly and easily add static text information to your application there. And then you could custom build some components as well. The thing to keep in mind is, one last thing to keep in mind, however, is that many of the components that have been published to AppExchange are free packages. Mm-hmm. So that, if cost is a concern there in terms of what your organization needs to, don't necessarily assume that just because it's a component on the exchange that it's a paid package. In fact, most of the components that are live today are available for free.
Sure. I see another question coming in that is, are these native apps or web apps, and what operating system will they work on? And this is a key benefit of building apps on Salesforce and using our Salesforce One mobile application, is that it works in both, in pretty much every environment, right? We have native applications, I'll call them hybrid applications, that run both on the Apple iOS as well as on Android. And that's the Salesforce One app you saw Eric dive into when he showed the mobile applications on his phone and on his tablet. But all these applications also run in an HTML5 environment.
On a mobile browser.
Yeah, in a mobile browser. So if that's your preferred method for accessing applications, we provide a very easy way to access them. So it's really up to you on what makes the most sense for your business and your enterprise security systems. We offer the containerized solution or the HTML5 solution. That's the beauty of building for mobile and our fully responsive design.
So there was a question that came in about, can we run one of these apps on the desktop browser? And that's certainly something that we are working towards. At this point, Salesforce One is focused just on the phone and the tablet, but you can imagine that we are very hard at work on bringing some of that power to the desktop. I encourage you to pay attention to some of the announcements at Dreamforce this fall.
Yep, stay tuned. Join us at Dreamforce if you have questions around desktop. Definitely. So I see more questions coming in. Can you launch individual Lightning apps that run inside of Salesforce One from a shortcut in a mobile device? Well, once you get into Salesforce One, you can pick from the left-hand nav any application. So it's very easy to navigate your way directly to one of these mobile applications inside of Salesforce One. Any of these other ones that you want to?
So some questions about what user license is required for using the app. And basically any Salesforce user license is going to work there. Any CRM or platform user license is going to work there. You're not going to be able to get in and run apps with, say, a chatter-free license. Mm-hmm. But any of the CRM or platform.
Yeah, if you're a user of sales, if you're a user of service, if you've got Force.com licenses inside your organization, we're not adding additional charges for you to get access to the custom app building tools for the Lightning app components. It's all included. So as long as you have those licenses and you're within your number of objects and your number of custom objects and things like that, it will all be part of your standard Salesforce. And we'll take one or two more questions before we wrap up here. I see. Yeah, go ahead.
So there was a question about how can we connect to data that's in other systems. And while it's a little bit tangential here, I think it's worth calling out. We have a great technology we call Lightning Connect, which allows you to connect to a wide variety of external systems, including Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, a variety of different systems out there, and it allows you to bring that data in and work with it as if it was in Salesforce. And once you use that and you've brought that data through our platform, you can then use tools like Lightning App Builder to build apps on top of it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. That's kind of the beauty of Salesforce is once you bring that data into the Salesforce ecosystem, be it through Lightning Connect or through our APIs, we become really a system of engagement on top of that data pulling out of a back-end system. So it's very easy once you get that data into Salesforce to bring it forward and present it in a mobile device inside of Salesforce One, our mobile container. So we can really become that engagement layer to take that back-end system, whether it's running on any other outside data source, and take it into the field, make it instantly mobile, and allow you to engage with it, add a layer of social collaboration with Chatter. The kind of opportunities there are pretty endless once you get that data inside of Salesforce. So I'll take one last question, which is there anywhere we can go to see more examples of apps built with Lightning? And I'll say, of course, the first place to go is visit our website at salesforce.com. Get hands-on. We talked about that Trailhead example. Dreamforce is a fantastic place to go. Are there any other resources?
Well, certainly on developer.salesforce.com, we've done a number of webinars over the past year that have some other examples and things like that. So there's a lot of resources already online that can be really helpful for you there.
And if folks want to get hands-on, they can also go ahead and sign up for a developer license or developer org, right?
Absolutely. The price is right.
Yep. Price for getting a developer org and kicking around under the hood is $0. So
exactly.
Go to developer.salesforce.com and you can start to play with our app builder, explore what components are out there, see how easy it is to install applications and build applications and get them up and running inside your own business.
Yeah, I expect everyone to be an app builder by lunchtime today.
There we go. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us here today on the webinar. If you have other questions, you see our emails are listed here, so feel free to reach out to us. And I hope you have a chance to go to developer.salesforce.com and find out a little bit more about our app building tools. And please stay tuned to Dreamforce. We've got a lot of exciting announcements around Lightning, around App Builder, and around our app building experience. So with that, I wish you a good day, and thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.